ModusToolbox and Imagimob Studio can be used together to develop machine learning applications targeting Infineon MCUs, enabling machine learning on low-power edge class devices. In this video, I will walk through the installation of Imagimob Studio, the Capture Server data collection scripts, and the ModusToolbox Machine Learning Pack. I will also cover installation of a few additional required dependencies. Prior to this video, I installed the ModusToolbox Setup tool and used this tool to install ModusToolbox version 3.2. I also installed Python version 3.11. Please refer to the link in the description for a video covering these steps. One critical piece of working with the current Imagimob Capture Server is the installation of Python. Python version 3.11 is recommended for use with Capture Server. But please note that Python version 3.12 and newer are not currently supported. You can check the version of Python that Windows will default to by opening a Windows command console and typing python --version. If an unexpected version is returned, you can correct this in a few different ways. I'll cover two of them. The first is just rerunning the Python version 3.11 installer. Select Modify, verifying that the optional features are selected as shown. But we don't need to make any changes here, so I'll select Next and review the advanced options. Here we want to make sure that Add Python to Environment Variables is checked, and then select Install to effect the changes. Since my Python is already set up correctly, I'll just press Cancel. Another method is to manually change the priority of the Windows environment path variable. We'll review this by opening the Edit Environment Variables for your account from the Start menu. Double-clicking the path variable, we need to confirm that the Python and Python/script for the desired version of Python, 3.11 in my case, are at the very top of this list before proceeding. Now that we have confirmed the correct version of Python is set up, we'll proceed with the installation of Imagimob Studio and Capture Server. From the Imagimob.com webpage, I'll select Sign In. An account is required to download and use Imagimob Studio. If you do not already have an account, you can select the Create a New Account option. I'll now proceed with my login using an email and password. On the resulting page, I now have the option to download Imagimob Studio or review the online Getting Started resources. I'll select Download. Once the download completes, we can run the executable to install Studio. Now, after accepting the license, I'll keep the default settings, select Next, and then Install. In addition to the installation of Imagimob Studio, any required dependencies will also be installed. Following the installation, we can launch Studio directly from the final dialog box of the installer. Now, using the same credentials used to download Studio, we can use the dialog box to log in. Following this, the full application will load. Here we have options for accessing the online documentation or starting the process of opening or creating a new project. I'm going to go ahead and close Studio at this point and proceed with the installation and setup of the Capture Server scripts. Installing Capture Server is done using a Git clone. If you do not already have a Git client for Windows, you will need to install one prior to proceeding. For this video walkthrough, I'll quickly download and install Git for Windows, sticking with the default installation options. With that complete, I'll minimize the web browser window and open a Windows command prompt. To download Capture Server, I'll enter the following command: git clone https bitbucket.org/imagimob/captureserver.git and press return. Prior to setting up Capture Server, there are several dependencies that need to be installed first. We will install these modules by entering the following command: pip install, and then list the following modules: Bleak, Keyboard, NumPy, OpenCV-Python, Pandas, PySerial, and Wave. Once these are installed, we can complete the setup by running python setup.py --install. Reviewing the directory here, we see several subdirectories that will be used during the operation of Capture Server. Specifically note the examples directory. And within this directory, we can go into the generic subfolder. Here we see a few Python scripts that can be used to collect data over various interfaces. I'll close this window now and return to the web browser for one additional installation that is required for using the ModusToolbox Machine Learning Pack. QEMU is required for model evaluation within ModusToolbox ML. Please note that you must install a specific release of QEMU. From the QEMU.org webpage, we'll go to the Download section and select Windows. From this page, we can see that there are compiled binary versions available for 64-bit Windows. The specific version that we need to install is version 6.2.0, which was released in the year 2021. Specifically, the December 15th release found at the bottom of this list. After downloading, I'll run the installer, sticking with the default installation options. Now, on the Choose Installation Location dialog page, please make note of the destination directory. In fact, I will copy this directory as we will use it to complete the integration with ModusToolbox ML. I'll now select Install to initiate the installation of QEMU. After this completes, we can press Finish to close the installer. ModusToolbox ML needs to know the installation directory of QEMU, and we can specify this using a Windows environment variable. So I'll again open up the Edit Environment Variables for your account, and this time select New. The variable name that we need to create is ifx_mtbml_QEMU_path, and the value will be the path that I copied during the QEMU installation. Details on these steps can be found within the ModusToolbox Machine Learning User Guide. And of course, we need to install the ModusToolbox Machine Learning Pack as well. This can be done using the ModusToolbox Setup tool. I'll launch this using the desktop icon. I'm already logged in, so I can review the additional package listed in this section, placing a check mark next to the ModusToolbox Machine Learning Pack. Proceeding through the installer, I'll accept the license and start the installation. After a few minutes, the installation will complete and I can close the ModusToolbox Setup tool. This now completes the video covering the installation of Imagimob Studio, Capture Server, and the ModusToolbox Machine Learning Pack. From here, you can refer to the various user guides and training modules related to these applications. Thank you for watching.